haven't this been talked about? Okay, 710 indigenous women missing. Wyoming, mainly. But the only person that we heard about last year around September. Okay, so she was found September the 19th. That's the only person we heard of. Because you know that I keeps up with these news stories, and I'm on several missing persons pages, from Black and Missing, Black Foundation, Black Femicide, children, or I'm on, wow, you guys, I'm on two other, and then the other site that I found this on is called Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women on Facebook. Her name is Jenny Hovland, the Deputy Assistant Secretary for Native American Affairs in the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, poses with a missing and murdered Indigenous women mask on August the 26th, 2020. So she's saying in this same state, 710 Indigenous people were reported missing from 2011 to 2020. Again, see my video on Indigenous Native American women. The disappearance of Gabby Petito, possibly in Wyoming, has caused a national outcry. Okay. And I will post this article on this page, because I think this is one of them I did do when I did the missing women. So it says the report found 50% of missing Indigenous people are found within 1 week, while 21% remain missing for 30 days or longer. Only 11% of white people remain missing for that long, according to the report. It goes on to say the report also looked at media coverage, finding only 30% of Indigenous homicide victims made the news, compared to 51% of white victims. And unfortunately, that is true, because I just said that I didn't see anything. So these are some names that I saw while I was looking at Eliza Fletcher and Gabby Petito. So again, I had already talked about Jaleesa Fuentes, 22, missing August 6, 2022, from California. I'm really not sure if she's Native American. Here are some names here. Also another young lady, I think this young lady's Black. Malia Warlick, she's missing from Murfreesboro, Tennessee, since August the 27th. What I noticed when I went on this site, and I'm going to put that link for Native American women, I saw so many young Native teenage girls missing. 15, 16, 17, those are like the prime age for teens. So many missing. So one young lady stood out, pretty young lady. Her name is Selena, like Selena, the singer, the Tejano singer. Her name is Selena Not Afraid. Afraid, okay. So she went missing. She went to a party, and I did get the lady's name, Deantra Pittman, Pitman. So she went there. I don't know if it was a bunch of underage teenage drinking. I don't know if Deantra was one of the teens' mom, and she supplied these kids, allegedly, because I don't have no money for somebody to sue me for drinks. So this young girl, Selena, is taken back home, or supposed to be taken back home, in the people's car, their truck break down. So she gets down at the rest stop to go to the bathroom, and when she come back, they leave this little girl behind. Why would you leave your buddy behind? I mean, they don't. Okay, so make a long story short, when she's found, I don't remember how long it took them to find her. She frozen to death. She was probably trying to catch up or walk or whatever to meet them or flag them down, but she died in the freeze of hypothermia. Can you imagine that? So they, I think, are trying to charge or bring charges against DeAndra Pittman. So she sounds like she's probably an adult or a parent, and these kids was at her house unattended. Okay. Some more people. Kiara Klump. I just read about her story, and her mother was saying that no one did a story on her, nobody wrote about her. And then all of a sudden, like 2 months later, when the mom did the story, she was found October the 14th, 2021. They didn't say really what happened, but I did get some its and bits that the girl had ran away, and the person she had ran to or somebody she befriended was a predator. So I don't know if she had been there with this man from 2019 or how. It's been a year and a half she's been over there. So I don't know if she was trafficked or what. Another young lady, 16, Angel Rose White Bull. Another young lady, Charlene Yellowtail. Again, if the same energy was used to find these girls like it's used to find Cleopa Eston, who kidnapped Miss Eliza Fletcher, these people would be found. Same energy used to they used to find Gabby Petito, these people will be found. I do not understand why it is a disparity. Why is there a difference? More people that I think could be found. We still don't know. Where's Alicia Ware? That lady's still missing. Where's Alicia Rudd from Maryland? That little girl still missing. What happened to Kiara Coles of Chicago? This was a postal worker. Pregnant. She's still missing. There's somebody else I was looking at. Then the other young lady, Kanika Jenkins, they did find her, but nobody still really don't know really what happened in that hotel down there in that freezer. What happened? Why is the same energy is not used on these people like it's used on other folks? Moving on. My last one, you guys. This is Felipe Santos, Terrence Williams. These are two young, vibrant men at the prime of their life that was stopped. I don't know if I can enlarge this man's picture. By a wayward cop named Stephen Calkins. And I tell you, I just love me some Tyler Perry. And I haven't seen all his movies because I'm gonna be honest, some of them are just a little too silly for me. But the movies that he's doing, I love it. And I love the community and the humanitarian things. And I just saw him do a whole hour interview with Joel Osteen, and that was good. But he donated, I think it's 100,000. I thought it was 100,000, but I believe that he donated 200,000. So here it says in 2018, Tyler Perry enlisted the help of attorney Ben. Let's go out to police for protection, support, and they're not getting enough money that they deserve, or should I say the good ones deserve. Okay, so here they did a docu-series. I didn't know that. It's called When Two Men of Color Go Missing, a White Officer is a Suspect. And believe me, if the shoe was on the other foot, and Santos and Terrence were not black and Mexican men, and they were rich Jewish guys or from a famous Italian family, or even from a Russian oligarch family, that black cop, if that would have been Calkins, he would have been a black cop, he would have been arrested on something. I'm sorry, I'm just keeping it real. So Naples, Florida, on January 11, 2004, when Terrence Williams handed over some gas money and said, "I'll see you later, Mom." Okay, so the mama said he's 27. I believe they said he had 4 kids. And if I'm not mistaken, Santos had went missing first. Okay, and this is Terrence Williams' mom here, and he's a nice looking guy. And Felipe is also a nice looking man. He look I know they say he's Mexican, but he look more indigenous. He looks like a indigenous more. He has to me more indigenous features. Okay, so they saying Collier County Sheriff Deputy Stephen Calkins was fired in August of 2004 after an internal investigation because he kept giving them discrepancies when they asked him about what happened to Terrence Williams. Okay, so let me go down here where I saw exactly what happened. Okay, so here the mom is trying to do her detective work. So Mom Marcia Williams said that she contacted the people. He had a roommate. His roommate was Jason Gonzalez, and the roommate said that he didn't go to the party, that Terrence wanted him to go to a party and he didn't go. So the mom said that she stopped at the Memorial Gardens Cemetery on January the 12th. I went to the cemetery and I spoke with the workers there, recalls Marcia, and they told me that a cop put him in the back of the cruiser and drove away with him. That's what they told her. Okay, so Stephen Calkins was the cop identified by cemetery workers, contacted at home by his department's dispatch after Terrence Williams' disappearance, and Calkins denied having any interaction with Terrence and even failed to recall towing a Cadillac from the cemetery on January the 12th. Now that's a bold-faced lie. But as Marcia continued to press the sheriff's office for answers, the deputy superiors asked him to write an incident report. And that report, Calkins completely changed his story from not remembering anything to outline a very detailed account of his interaction with Terrence. Okay, that's interesting. So then for Marcia, the story of her son's disappearance get to be more complicated. 2 months after he went missing, Marcia wrote a letter to the editor of the Naples Daily News to plead for help, and she received a call from the Mexican consulate. I received a phone call from the Mexican consulate, and I'm like, oh my God, they found my baby. They found my baby. They were calling to let me know that there was a young man, Felipe Santos, missing. Felipe Santos was a 23-year-old undocumented Mexican worker who disappeared in 2003 of October. So he went missing in October. So yeah, so they got it 3 months. I'm so glad they did the math for me. My math is not really good, you guys. And so then Deputy Calkins, they're at the scene. He keeps, anytime somebody comes missing, there he is at the scene. Okay, it's just like a Lifetime movie. Okay, so they're both disappearing with the same deputy after being put in some deputy's car, says Tyler Perry. If this is a coincidence, then he is the most unlikely man in the world, and that this could actually be something that happened to him twice. I just don't see how that is possible. That's what he is saying. In 2020 of December, Calkins was part of a civil suit. They gave him a 4.5-hour deposition. And also what I get here, I don't know what he's been doing. That's what I'm curious. I think they said at the time he arrested Williams, he was 49. So now, right now, he's about 66. I didn't know also he had already been on the force for 16 years. I thought when I first read the story, they never said how long he was on the force. I assumed, maybe 2 or 3 years. Now, what I'm not understanding in this docu-series, and I know I saw it somewhere else, they're not talking about a man, another black man who said that he had ran into Calkins and some other officers, and they chased him down on the beach. And I'll put this link up on my page so you can see it. And I remember seeing it, I don't know if it was on ID Investigation or what show it was, but I saw that show like about 5 or 7 or maybe 8 years ago. And the man said, I know Calkins was the guy, or he was one of them. He said, with several cops, and they chased me on the beach, and I was so lucky to get away. And I never heard any more about it. Okay, so here in the deposition, they're going to say how Calkins was just basically full of it. So here they saying Calkins, during this sworn testimony, Calkins explains not having taken Terrence Williams to jail, with the memory that the young man seemed like a really nice guy. And for the most part, however, the former police officer said he was unable to remember his encounters with Terrence and Felipe, and he grew angry when the plaintiff's attorney tried to jog his memory. And how can, excuse me, how can, I've had to do those. And I've also know people, because I've worked in the courthouse, worked in attorney firms. How can you get angry? They're asking you a question. How are you allowed to not give a direct answer is what I'm not understanding. I'm also reading somewhere where in 2014 and 2016, so he left Florida, Calkins, and moved to either Iowa or Idaho. I don't know if it's to be with his parents or what, but he bought 2 homes. He bought a home in 2014 and 2016. Okay, where does an unemployed cop that or sheriff deputy that hadn't worked, he had been let go since 2004 of August after arresting Terrence Williams in January. Where do you get the money to afford two houses? Okay, that's my question. So here, this is from Wikipedia, and I'm just going to get to something they said quick that I thought about, and I saw where on people on Facebook was saying that they think that he took these guys and threw them in the Everglades, and the crocodiles or alligators got them, which that, you know, we all watch those Dexter movies, and this is Florida, so no telling. So here they say these are some theories. One popular theory for the disappearance is called the Starlight Tour, T-O-U-R theory. The term originated in the Canadian province of Saskatchewan, now if I say it right, and describes the practice of police driving individuals to the edge of town outside of city limits and abandoning them to find their own way home. The practice came to light in 2000 when the Indigenous Canadian man named Daryl Knight reported being picked up by police after leaving a party and driven to the outside of town, and then dropped off in a rural area in freezing conditions. Knight survived after finding a nearby power plant staffed by a security guard. The next morning, another Indigenous man named Rodney Nassalas was found frozen to the ground near where Knight was dropped off. Lawrence Wagner, also Indigenous, was found deceased weeks later in the same area. So according to Russo Sabo, Saskatoon's new police chief, evidence exists that similar drop-offs have gone on since at least the 1970s. A number of podcasts have explored the theory that Santos and Williams were dropped off in a nearby Everglades and had died of exposure or other perils. Okay, so I'm fixing to get to the real nitty-gritty. And no, I didn't have a dream or a vision, but these are some things that came to mind, and I just wrote them down while I was talking to one of my cousins out of state. So one thing came was a number 5. I don't know what, well, 5 came back again. 5. A name came up. I don't know what this name is. I've never heard of this name. And if you know the name, and I'm trying to spell it as close as I can, sounds Greek or maybe Italian. Victimus hammer. Victimus hammer. Okay. Then the number 5. Back to body. So the next thing came up was 5 and 10, and then death. Okay. And then it said, where's my other thing at? Then it said, then I think I asked the question, why? Why? And I got racism and hate. Then I asked, I think that's where the 5 came up. I asked how many. And I'm gonna say alleged because I don't have no money. Don't come for me. I don't have any money. So when I said alleged, 5, that I think that's 5. So we're looking at, I don't think this guy's the only person. It's more than one person involved. Somebody is offering 100,000, 200. I don't know why the Mexican consulate isn't doing anything. You should be bigger than Tyler Perry. Why isn't more Mexican celebrities, soccer players, Tejano players, why are they not coming up offering anything or trying to investigate? That's another thing. It's not just Terrence. What about Felipe Santos? I'm going there, you guys. So the next thing I had asked, how many people, how you know, and I got the number 20 or something like a 20 popped up. So I'm thinking, and I'm agreeing with something someone else said, back to the dude that said that he was chased on the beach by these guys, and he know Caucus was one of them. Okay, what if it's allegedly organ harvesting? What is it? Allegedly, it's a group. It's some kind of membership club. I don't know. I went and found Collier or Naples Missing People's Facebook page to try to see, because I didn't know this man had been around. So that meant he'd been a sheriff since '88 up until 2004. So I started looking at, there's several people. One of the people that I saw was missing was a little black boy, a little Haitian boy. He's been missing. And I remember, and I know like a lot of you guys, we see these people and we're like, oh, okay, they're going to be found. Oh, okay, the parent probably just came and took him to get candy. Oh, they probably just went to a nightclub or met somebody, and you forget about it. And then you see their face pop up 6-8 months later. And you're like, well, hey, I remember seeing them. I thought they would have been found. This is not just, to me, this explains why no one has not ratted, telltale, reported Calkins, because it's not him. So if I don't know, I'm just gonna make up a name. If officer or sheriff Bono goes and try to report, well, what is he gonna report? If he's in the club, if they got some dirt on him, I think it's some kind of old boy school thing. I don't think he's or it might be something having to do with the occult. No telling. Maybe sacrifices. I don't think this guy Calkins is working alone. I think the sheriff knew something. I don't understand why with these type of arrests, that with some cases, they don't need a body to arrest a person. They can arrest you on circumstantial evidence. So why is it not doing it with Calkins? I feel that, like most people who are old school, we know that what's done in the dark comes to the light. What goes up must come down. We just had a guy, we just saw on the news recently, a man came forward after he found the Lord. The Lord was always there. You know, he said he found the Lord and he wanted to come clean, and he admitted to killing someone years ago. So someone will talk. I'm looking for a wife, a lover, a girlfriend, someone to talk, to speak. That will eventually happen. Hopefully they don't wait for this dude to, I guess, die, or maybe when he's on his deathbed, he's gonna come clean. But it's obvious that Felipe Santos and Terrence Williams are not the only people. And there's more people involved in this than Calkins. I will bet you 5 Papa John pieces, okay? And I'm sending the prayers out to these guys, and I'm sending the light. Okay, going back to something that happened, and I'm going to give you 2 stories. And again, it's not bashing the police, because I have a family members of police. I had friends who, maybe not friends, associates, who was in the police, FBI, U.S. Marshals, ATF, you know, So one of my friends way back in the day when Kmart wasn't around, and I don't know if he was trying to flirt with me or trying to flirt with my younger sister. You never know with dudes. Sometimes they try and flirt with you and your relative at the same time. So he was telling me, I got to get out of here. I'm tired of this stuff, meaning working on the police force. He said he was going to go back to school, get his master's or PhD, and he was going to either be a clinical psychologist or something. He said he's seen so much that he hadn't even been there that long, but the stuff that he had seen was enough that he was ready to go. So he said, you don't understand. I'm just going to put this. This is not a badge, but y'all pretend it's a badge. He said, you don't know what this means. That this badge gives a cop, especially if he's a bad cop, to do whatever he wants to you, to stop your car, to search, write a ticket, ask you questions, whatever. He said that badge is so much power in that badge. One. And he told me some other stories. I'm not going to go into it. Second story, going back to people who don't know what their kids are doing, or don't know what can happen. Years ago, not years, my mom used to take us to the park. We'll go like 3 or 4 times a week. And she liked to take a little smoke break from my stepfather, who was a very hardcore religious Baptist preacher, okay? And he was like, women are not supposed to smoke, okay? So we would leave so Mama can take her little smoke. And I know she came to us, she said, we gotta get out of here. So we started going to another park. And I was always nosy, I was always eavesdropping. So when we got home, my mother was, I could hear her tell my stepfather, I'm not going to that park anymore because there's a cop and he's having, I'm not going to say it, I'll just say the word relations with a teenage Mexican girl in the back seat of his car. And she said, I had seen him there a couple of times, but I didn't think nothing of it. But now I know, because I could hear and I could see her face or her head or something, and I knew what was going on. So now I think, what we're seeing that's going on, I'm glad she didn't call herself trying to be the Black Nancy Drew or something, or Sherlock Holmes, and go report them, because back in them days, people were not woke, W-O-K-E, like they are today. And you have to be careful with those kind of things anyway, because we were like the only Black family on our street, and on the next street, another Black family, because the community was predominantly Black and white and Hispanic. So we were the Black family on one street, on the next street. So the park that we would go to was at the corner, at the dead end of the street. There were homes all down that corner, all down that dead end. So when he would park that car, there was a house here and there was a house there. So when he's here, there's a little house right there, and there's homes all around there facing the park. So how is it those people did not know or see what was going on? They could have reported. So I'm kind of glad my mom didn't report. She didn't get involved. My point is saying this: that badge gives them the right and power to do anything pretty much that they want to do. That's why people need to know what your kids are doing, where your kids are at, who your kids are with, and teach them. Because bystanders, witnesses, everybody's not going to report something that they see because they scared. They don't know what's going to happen. You can't, look for them. I have another police story involving me, someone I met years ago that I found out was a crooked cop as well and was pulling women over. And I'll tell y'all that one another time. So again, you guys, let's keep all these missing people lifted up in prayers. Everybody lifted up, shine the white light on them. The answers that what's done in the dark will come to the light. What goes up must come down. So again, thank you for joining me at What Else? Maria loves to talk. Stay healthy, happy, and blessed. Thank you.